Welcome back to another book review. Which book is it? Which book? So, this is my 13th book of the year. My list of books are there. You can't see them, but they are there. My big pile of vintage Stephen King books are here, just as you have nearby at all times. Today we're talking about Red Rising by Pierce Brown. See, I watched a lot of people talking about this book. I've seen the cover. I was recommended it through TikTok or BookTok, as you call it. But now I've experienced it. A book is always different when you just look at it, and then obviously when you read it. It's immensely more complex and detailed, obviously, when you read it. When I look at books before reading them, it's almost like I try to get an understanding of the book without reading it. Or you gain a shallow understanding, or you try to gain a shallow understanding of a book from what you've heard, what you read on the outside. Maybe you read a couple of pages, maybe you research the series. I heard a lot of people talk about this book. I also heard a lot of people talk about the series as a whole. There's 6 out at the moment, starting with this, ending with Lightbringer. And then there's obviously 4 in between that, which I don't know the names of. But anyway, Red Rising. So I'm sleep deprived today. I normally sleep between 8 hours, like 7.5 to 8.5, sometimes 9.5 hours a night. I've got 6 hours and 50 minutes sleep. I wear my watch. That's how I know while I'm sleeping. Why am I so sleep deprived? Nothing else has really caused. I've read 12 other books this year. You know, I read books. What's the reason of my sleep deprivation? It's this book. It's this book. I stayed up the last 2 nights until midnight reading this book. Not because I had to. Not because I had a goal to be reading this by a certain time. Just because it's so fucking gripping and captivating. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the story generally, I can read a little bit from the blurb just to get that out of the way. Darrow, the main character, is a miner in the interior of Mars. So he's working under the ground. He's a miner. He's a hell driver, so he operates a drill. And they're meant to be essentially there to mine for the time that when people will come and inhabit Mars. Little do they know that Mars is already inhabited there's different classes of people and different types. There's the Reds, which are the miners, and then there's the Pinks, there's the Greys, there's the Golds. Maybe there's Greens? I don't know. Anyway, so I don't want to go too much into the story itself. That's more for you to read and understand yourself. But essentially there was Golds, I mentioned, which the main consensus is he undergoes a process of turning himself into a Gold to infiltrate the Golds, and with the long-term plan of overthrowing it, and then so the Reds rise, Red Rising. That's what that's probably more the 6 series overarching story. For this story, it's the beginning of that process of him turning into a Gold through body changes and going in as a new fledgling to begin his process and procedures to be a Gold that's sort of starting. It's like you're starting your study and training process. First of all, let's talk about the writing. So this writing is very direct. Every sentence is important information, it seems. It's not as though there's no extravagance, there's no extreme descriptions, there's no beautiful imagery. It's just straight to the point. And it's really good in that way, where you just want to keep on reading it. There's no pointless paragraphs. There's no pointless sentences. There's no, oh, so then he sat and the table was sitting before him and he was thinking of the situation he was in, and he saw there was a drip dripping from the roof onto the ground, and a small caterpillar was slithering past on his foot. None of that. There is no filler. There is nothing that's not absolutely necessary. And they found me. There's nothing that's not necessary, important, entertaining, and that wants you to keep reading. It's a very interesting writing style. It's one thing I noticed with it is because it's a bit sparse, you could say, in descriptions of people and places and things, you don't get as much of a mental imagery of what's going on. At least I don't. I'm not like visualizing things whilst I'm reading it. But I don't flip and care. That's the other thing. I just want to read the story. I just want so badly to continue reading the story. I don't care about anything. The next chapter, normally chapters, you start a new chapter, okay, it's setting the new stage. Nah, you're in there. The next chapter, boom, I'm in it. I want more. It's not slowing down. It's not slowing down. It's gripping you. Is there a moment of rest? Is there a moment of reprieve for the reader? No. Do we want one? Maybe. Are we getting it? We're not getting it. I didn't get it with this. I just kept on sucking it in. I read this in 3 days. It's not very long. It's a great length. It's 380 pages. So I read 130 approximate pages a day. I normally read 40 pages a day. So I read almost 3 to 4 times more with this book. Not for any particular reason. Not because, I better read more today. Just because I flippin' wanted to. This reminded me of how books used to make me feel when I was a kid. I read the story and I go, oh my God, I don't want anything to happen to that guy. I don't want anything, I don't want him, I don't want that person to be the betrayer. I don't want this person to get hurt. I don't want something bad to happen to any of these characters that I've grown a relationship with. Another thing about this book is the story structure. I feel like the author must have put a lot of time and effort into creating the story and how it processes. We've all encountered a story similar to what the basis of this is. There's a hero. He's a lowly hero in the bottom ends of society. And he's coming up and he's going to be the hero. That's a pretty common storyline. This pretty quickly differentiates itself because the main character transforms into a new clan of the higher-ups. That's I find different. But just moving forward, it's never predictable. It's never predictable. So a big part of this book is it's a battle. It's a competition. It's a test where it's sort of like capture the flag, but you've got castles and you need to You need to be the last house. There's about 6 or 7 houses, all with their own bases. You need to be the last base remaining. How do you do that? You're not encouraged to kill. You make slaves of all the other houses, so it becomes one house. That's the majority of what this book is based in. So it's warfare, it's battle, it's strategy. There's allies, there's betrayal, it's like 6 hours sleep last night because of this. After reading it, I feel like if you hear about a book enough from other people, you start to sort of go, oh, everyone's reading it. It's just, it's the popular book of the time. It's, the Hunger Games. They compare this to, like, this quote is Ender, Katniss, and now Darrow. So Darrow's the main character in this. Ender is from Ender's Game, the main character. Katniss is the main character for Hunger Games. So they put this in the same sphere. I feel like this is a bit darker, a bit more chaotic, a bit more ruthless, a bit more dirty. Even though I haven't read Hunger Games, I watched the movies. But I have to say, I do enjoy the book. It's the only book out of the 13 I've read this year that's made me just demolish it in 3 days, reading 4 times approximately more than I normally read. I have a plan potentially to read this whole series for the rest of the year. A part of me, because it's so absorbing, it's so gripping, it's so fascinating. It's almost like reading it like sucks. It's not just like, I'm reading, I'm using my brain. It's like I'm using my brain and my soul to consume this book. It's like by the end, it's like I've just been sitting on the couch for the last 2 hours doing nothing but reading this book, and now it's midnight and the book's finished. And I said to myself before, I'm like, I'm going to finish this series just straight. And I'm like, oh, it's exhausting in a good way, but it's like, I'm now so attached to these characters, like Sevro, Mustang. They're the main two. They're definitely my favourites. And the thing is, there's people out there that have read the full series and they go, oh, you wait and see what happens with Sevro. Don't hurt them, Pierce Brown. Don't hurt my friends. You created my friends. Don't hurt them, okay? I like Darrow. I like Mustang. I like Sevro. What you've done so far with them has been fantastic. I loved it. But there's 5 more books for them to have to exist and be doing the right things, or potentially being hurt, or betraying Darrow, betraying me. Do I have the courage to continue on the story where they could get hurt? Is this symbolic of life? Should we continue on? Should we be afraid? Should we let our fear stop us? No. We will not! Yeah, so it's done. Fucking hell. I don't have the next one. This is probably my first. This is my first modern. This is in 2014, so it's not that modern, but it's my most modern book I've read this year. The next most modern would be The Name of the Wind, which was, gosh, I don't know, maybe 2010 or something like that. So maybe I'm just not used to this modern style of writing or something. But like bloomin' hell, gosh, you fucking piece of shit motherfucker, you. What have you done to me? What have you done? Now I'm going to read... I go back to reading a Stephen King book and I'm like... It's all descriptions now. It's like, fucker, we get it, bro. This fucker doesn't worry about describing shit. He just gets straight to the point. Stephen, oh yes, and then there was a little Cadillac and it was a beautiful, and he's driving and he's got his books in the back. It's like, fuck off! This is ruining me. What's the rating? I've got to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I've never rated any of my other books, but maybe this is the benchmark. Okay, what you could say some negatives if you wanted to. I guess not negatives, but maybe the lack of description, maybe the lack of imagery. Like, I got a question. I'm guessing everyone is a human. Golds are humans too, but they're just sort of like a more muscular, taller human. Everyone's a human. They're not like giants. They're just big people. Like reds are people in the mines, and the golds are people, but the golds are just sort of like bigger, better versions of the people. That's just I'm like. I was sort of reading it and I'm like, what are they? Are golds like sort of alien-y? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's Red Rising. Great book. Highly recommend it. Just read it. Don't get too much into the hype. There's a lot of hype around it. Just get your eyes on the words, flip the pages, and see what you think yourself. Some people might not like it. I totally understand that. I very much enjoyed it. This brought into me a remembrance of what books can do to someone, and I feel like the subject matter maybe resonates a lot with me because I'm, a young male. I love the battles, I love fighting and stuff, so maybe that's why I loved it so much as well. Great book. 9.5 out of 10.